Any questions till now? Simple.
No questions, Ramesh. Thank you.
Generative AI is just like a junior DBA or an entry level person, or else your chat GPT or Gemini screen, where you can ask it a question, write down a backup T-SQL script to take a backup, or else write down a PowerShell script to schedule a backup, and all these types of things. And next part is generative AI, where it works on a condition. For example, what is it? It is just an AI agent. It will check your C drive or anything. Check your C drive if it is full. If a condition is true, logically, if a condition is true, then it has got an action to perform. Then afterwards testing, if that condition is specific condition is back to 80% or 90%, or a simple thing, then that say step 2 for cleaning up the task is disabled. That is all about a disk cleaner, which is an AI agent. Next comes agentic AI, or else autonomous AI. We can call it as autonomous AI, where it is going to be a thinker. It is going to perform each and every activities. Okay, before introducing yourself to ChatGPT, did you see anywhere AI agent, anyone? Artificial agents anywhere other than Alexa, or else Google Home, or else ChatGPT, Gemini, other than these? SQL Server 2022 uses AI, machine learning, AML, for cross joins, for query fine tuning. In your query store, if you have seen and used the query store, the regression graph is generated by an ML algorithm in SQL Server. It is everywhere. Okay. When it comes to this agentic AI, it is going to be a thinker. It can think, decide, and do upon its own. Okay, there is no if condition stated over there. For example, in the before example, if C drive is full or C drive is occupied by 90%, what we do? We just CPU usage is disk space. C drive is more than 95%. We archive the files, and if it is less than 80%, we stop doing that archiving the files. Right here, when a CPU is high, when your SQL Server CPU is high, there are not only one reason. There for sure, or maybe there may be n reasons for its high CPU. It may be a blocking which is causing an high CPU. It may be a bad index at bad index at a wrong place. Yes, chances are there. When you are dealing with a high CPU, you have to think on multiple points. In the same way, agentic AI is going to be the good example is this Claudebot or Multiple. Yes, I have used it, but we have to be careful. Why? Because to think and grant access, it's very dangerous to do it. Reason is that we have to be more cautious when granting permissions or when working with AI. Point one, then why to learn AI? Right? This is the first question. Then why to learn AI? We have to learn AI to make it efficient in our environment and in our daily DBA activities. That does not mean that it is not so efficient. It is, but there are multiple options to be taken care. And here it is. Any questions till now? Anyone? Can you see the screen? Want to ask anything?
So you mean to say these all three features are inbuilt in 2022?
These three are not features. These are the three pillars of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that means
Generative AI,
by
agent AI,
default. Mhm.
generative AI agent, and agentic AI. These three are the AI. Generative AI is the entry level. AI agent is the mid level, and agentic AI is the current level. Tell me what?
So that means these agents are by default inbuilt in the software.
No, not exactly. Okay, for example, ChatGPT is built on LLM, large language models. Apart from that, we have RAG agents. Okay, RAG agent is just in short. I will explain to you in a simplest way. For example, if anybody asks you a question, what is the capital of India? Then New Delhi. It's a straightforward answer. But what RAG does is it is just, instead of doing any mistakes, it is just going to connect with its own documents, or else with its own knowledge base, or else internet, and give you the perfect answer. Okay. There are other types of MCP servers. You might have heard about MCP servers. For example, there is a DBA tool built. Okay, there is a, assume that there is an AI program of DBA tool builds where it will monitor or keep concerned about your SQL Server production environment. It is going to check your error log. It is going to check your agent log. It is going to check your agent jobs. It is going to check your replication performance. It is going to check your always on availability groups, whatever. Okay. In an environment, if you don't have replication configured on it, then there is no need of enabling that one, right? That option, right? When you come to monitoring also, if you don't have replication configured in your servers, then you are not going to check the replication monitoring abilities. If you check also, that is not going to work. Why? Because replication is not configured. In simple, if at all you want to use AI MCP servers for one or two options, you want to have a deep look into your security, how your servers are performing, how secure is your database, how, from where we are getting the connections, what are the user level permissions. Only security you want to use, you implement MCP servers in your environment, give access only to user logins and login permissions. Okay, then it will keep a trace on all the options, only securing your environment, nothing other than that. Got it? It is, we can limit AI implementation or on a specific points level. When you want to have ADK, agent development kit, which is implemented by Google, you have a large environment of 1,000 or 10,000 servers, SQL 1,000 SQL servers, and your environment is set up in a such a way that every day all the event Windows event log is copied to another environment, another server. Or else want to check how, or else you have 1,000 servers and you want to verify that is this backup sets valid or not. We can use agents only to take the backup. Apart from these things, okay, for example, you may come across, or many of the people don't want, or else they don't want to share or implement AI in their server production environment. Yes, I want to use AI, but not in my production environment. I just don't want my AI API key connecting to my database server and doing it. Then there is an option called as, we can just create a telemetry database where it is going to collect the raw data. It, or else the best thing is we can enable extended events, copy that extended events to your local environment, connect it with any agent, and that is done. Okay, this is not, for example, other benefit of it, other than this, you have 1,000 servers in your environment, 1,000 SQL servers in your environment, and now you are planning to implement cost cutting. First thing is that you don't touch the servers where its CPU is more than 60 or 70%. Okay. Second thing is that you just want to find out the zombie servers. Zombie servers means where CPU is least used. You have when a project started, they have required user has required for a 16 GPU, 16 CPU and 64 GB RAM, and you have granted it. But till now, only two CPUs are used. More, it is hardly used. Then we are unnecessarily paying for 14 CPUs, right? Those are called as zombie servers. Then what we do it? We just connect our monitoring servers, monitoring database. You can just, if you have Spotlight, just take a backup of your database, restore it. I'm speaking about the monitoring details database. You can connect with your AI agent or programming by using Python, or else using natural language NLP, natural language processing, or else you can activate it with an AI agent and ask it, how can you give me the list of servers where its CPU was barely or rarely used? Then it will give you the CPUs rarely used. This is an option, right? Or else you are monitoring a mission critical servers. You have mission critical servers. You can use AI efficiently for anomaly detection. Okay, what anomaly detection? How this can be done? Very simple. You have a product and it has running on with SQL Server as it in its background. Okay, and at any moment of time, it is going to process its record or process its application or records or anything every Monday between exactly from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. for 1 hour. CPU hits 80%. That is its normal behavior. Okay, but on a fine day, CPU hit 90%, from 0 to 1 or 2% to 90%. Unexpectedly, it came down. That is called as anomaly, where it is different from its local or a regular behavior is called as anomaly detection. For that also, we can find out. We can use AI, or else how many of you have used the just download the CPU usage graph, or else from Spotlight or any monitoring, attached it to your AI chat GPT and asked it, find out anomaly, it will detect and show you. Or else just connect to your agent services. You want to monitor your agent services. There are multiple servers. There are 40 or 50 SQL servers, and each server agent services are dependent on one another. Okay, if a job fails on server A, then we need to restart the server job on server C. Agent services. These are our agents dependents. Want to track it, want to document it, create an MCP server or a RAG agent only for monitoring your agent services, only for monitoring, which I confirm that we don't grant access to start it or change its schedule. It is just going to monitor and give you the documentation. Yes, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, when a job failed on server 1, then we have restarted a job on server C and server D. This documentation is done over there. That is possible. And moreover, anomaly detection is completed. But using any questions till now? Any questions?
No, Ramesh. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now comes our prediction. Okay, how do you perform a capacity planning for SQL Server databases? We just keep monitoring our disk space, free space on our drive, and if it gets increased or if it gets occupied on an average of 10 GB for 3 months, then we confirm that we need we need to add 50 GB of disk space in the next 6 months, right? This is all our assumptions. Okay, now what we can do is we can just write on a Python program which will check all the databases in our SQL Server environment. It will check for the free space in the database and expect free space in the database, then predict its auto growth. Then, depending upon that prediction, we can give the date. We can pick up the details and we can perform the prediction on it. Exactly, internally we can find it out. What we humans used to do, check the disk space availability on C drive or else on any drive, then calculating it's on average for 3 or 4 months. We are just going to give the result. Right now, it's going to be different. If a database is there, it is just going to monitor the database growth, how the database growth was performed for the last 3 months or 4 months. Yes, it may read your trace files. It can read your trace files if at all you allow, or else create an extended events to read it, or else create a telemetry database which will keep on tracing your database and storing its values in a table. Even that is also possible. Any questions?
Yeah, it seemed like it's nothing different. Like, even for example, capacity plan. So everybody will, get the data from database, right? So what extra it is doing it. And you said it's in trace file. So trace file is just for any abnormalities of error, right? So it's
No,
nothing.
no, it's not that. You can alter the trace files as well, or else you want. But by default, trace files you are speaking about, right? But when you install trace files, it is going to store any abnormalities are there, anything is there, it
Yeah.
can store. Apart from that, you don't want to use the trace files. You just want to be so efficient. Then use extended events. No, I just want to have an historic data. Create a telemetry database, pick the details, and store it in your table. Anything is possible, right? But applying the prediction goes very well apart from that one. For
Okay.
example, you work for a project. You work for a project where archive implementation is there. Okay, for the first 3 weeks, it is just going to increase its sales table, and at the last week, you are going to move that sales table to an archive database. Then your table size decreases, right? Why? Because we have archived it. We have cleaned up the table from the sales table. We have moved it to a different database. Now, there is a difference, right? By you implementing AI, as it is checking each and every database, it can give us the perfect prediction with a 90 percentage of its accuracy everywhere. Fun thing, by reading, by collecting, by implementing extended events in your environment and keep on monitoring your server, it can predict when a blocking can occur. Can we predict? No, right? What a traditional DBA can do is you can, or we can configure alerts. When a blocking occurs, we'll get an email. Looking at that email, we need to connect to the server, get the details, kill the block, decide the blocking, want to kill or keep, decide, and move on. Right? But when it comes to agentic AI, it can predict when a blocking can occur. Why? Because it has analyzed each and every T-SQL duration, T-SQL batch in your agent. It is just looking at your execution queries, but not the data. For example, when we give a agent, we should be very careful that it should not be allowed to read the data. It's not reading the data. It is not reading any table. It is just reading the query execution at its time. Type of queries. This is how it is going to work. And also the SQL Server 2025 has got a vector database, vector data type, not a database, data type. The any question? Is that clear? You have any?
So finally, overall, these are very helpful in terms of writing the query, one thing, and monitoring purpose,
And
and
prediction,
prediction, and in terms of capacity planning, it will give it the right picture.
yes.
And what other things it can do? So does it generate any other things like, for example, I want to set up a always on. Okay, so and I have not set up any monitoring jobs. So does it can take care of it if I install these agents?
Agentic AI, it can do it.
Okay, agentic AI.
Okay, it requires little bit of your programming. Okay, what needs to be done, how it needs to be configured. That
Yeah, hi. Just I have one question regarding it. So, as you mentioned about this, right, it will do all the planning and all. So, as an user, if I want to go and request to for the like as a DBA, I need to write a simple language in a way that what is the size of the database from in the backup in terms of backup for the next 10 months. So it's going to directly how the AI
no,
will
no,
interact with the
no.
SQL Server.
I will just give you a demo. I will just run a program and show you that it then it will give you a clear idea.
So that's what, right? Internally, right? Are you using an MCP server which will connect to the LLM and it will come to the response like that?
But first thing is that you can use any MCP servers, RAG agents, or anything else. You can use your Python programming with using classes, libraries. For example, want to work on the data pages. Okay, it is just like a data slate, data block. Pandas we can use. Want to go for a prediction? XGBoost classes are there.
Who is? I'm like, what application is going to orchestrate all this? Agent, right?
It's a Python program. It has got to libraries in it.
Okay, that like a crew orchestrator which will handle our request and it will ask the agent to go and connect to the SQL server, get the response, and then like this. Like I just want to internally, right? I understand what's DBA automation of the DBA using the AI, but more interesting on how these things will work on in the background, how we can set up on the connecting to the SQL server and all those things, and how it will connect to the LLM.
There are a very simplest programmatic way of doing it, or else we can use ADKs, agent development kit, which Google has introduced. Okay.
Okay.
For example, you just want to monitor only session level, or else
Okay.
use level, security level. You can
Oh,
create one agent. In a it can be a collection of agents. I just created a 12 of them. One is monitoring our security, however, monitoring the error logs, how our
oh,
SQL Server logs are doing, and
okay.
another agent to monitoring our jobs, how jobs are running. And in that jobs, we can, for example, there is two. I will just uh, explaining you the possibilities.
Okay.
Two programs are there. One program, what it does is, it is about an archive job. It will run on a specific day, but what we have scheduled is just when each CPU goes less than 20%, less than 2% for 20 minutes, then you can run this archive job. This is how we have planned it. In this scenario, our AI agent can change that schedule of job. One, same user, second program, second agent, same user, everything is same. But here we are going to check jobs and its execution, how jobs are performing. That's all. For example, last week a backup job was there that was executing. That got executed in 1 hour. Now it is getting 20 or 30 minutes or 15 minutes. This is how. In this second agent, same user will be able to read job history only. Other than that, nothing it is going to. Same user in our first scenario, what it can do? It can reschedule the job, reschedule a archive job. We have given that parity to it, that option to it. But in the same user, in the second agent, it can just check the agent jobs and the execution time. This is how we can create limitations. As I said, there is numpy is libraries there, pandas, which are called as data frames. For example, for prediction purpose, okay, you just want to configure, you just want to predict how the CPU is going to work. Then you are going to analyze massive data over there. By using arrays or the things, it will be very slow. We are going to use Python with pandas class libraries. That is much faster. For it is just like a data, it picks and put your data in a frame and do it. Second thing is Skytech, which is going to do prediction. We are just going to create two private environments in the same machine. Two folders are there. First one is agent job for archive, ADK agent for archive jobs. Second one is for job monitoring. Two separate agents are there. Two separate environments are there. One environment is not all the required files to execute this agent are kept private, which is not going to interfere with or perform anything on the other agent execution. I'll just show you the agent creation and do it. In this sample here, just if you can see the screen, this is going to be a very simple example. The import OS or import date time, these are all the libraries. PyODBC means Python ODBC, which is by importing it, it gives us a capability of connecting to our SQL server. This is my server database username and password. For testing purpose, for example purpose, I am showing you here. Okay, what it does, we just connect to the SQL server. If you look at the output, or else I will just show you where it is. Python followed with what is my file name, bkp dot. Okay, this is my program. Just to show you clear, it is just a command prompt opened with run as administrator, but make it visible to you, I have changed the background and make it as a white background. What it does is, first I will show you explain you what it does. It's here, it connects to the SQL server. It's once the connection is established, it is going to check the backup of the database. Backups are, is it going to take the backup of the database or not? Once it is done, it is going to collect the size and clean it up. For in short, it is going to give us a backup report. It is just going to give a backup report for a. I will just show you. Program files. Yes, this is the default location for my backup. It is empty, right? I will just execute this program. bkp.python. You just see, for a fraction of a second, a backup, you will be able to see a backup file over there. Here, execution successfully connect to the SQL server. Backup location is listed. Directory is writable by current user. Permissions are verified. Connection successful. Service account is displayed. This account is able to have write permission on the backup directory. These are all done. Connected, backup file is taken, and thereafterwards cleaned up. And at last, no active backup operations are found. It is just going to perform a simple. It is just a 0.1% of backup monitoring. Okay, you just want to check out that maybe in your environment you have 100 databases. In that, a database may be corrupted. In that, a backup file might not be executing. We can find out by using this script. You might get a question. You might get it out. Yes, I had heard this. So you may be aware that these pandas, ODBC, pandas, and all these connections are available. Why can't I use PowerShell to achieve the same? I have been using PowerShell for the last 5 years. Then why should I learn Python when dealing with AI? It is a simple language. It's not so complex. Keep it aside because of its availability. For example, want to you this is collab. Very simple. You can use your Python on the browser level as well. Google Colab is there. For example, here you can see it. Here it is. Just here you can see factorial of I is 120. It has just calculated the factorial of a number and given the result. I just want to show you the flexibility of Python everywhere. Okay, for PowerShell is available for Windows starting from PowerShell 7. It is environment independent. For example, if you write down a Python PowerShell program without any changes, that program runs easily on Linux environment and Windows environment, both at a time. Speaking about PowerShell 7, okay, same Python, it runs everywhere. It's a lightweight thing, and it has good. The best thing which I liked here is environment, private environment. For example, for predicting the disk space, for predicting the CPU usage, for predicting the blocking, you may require 7 or 8 libraries to be implemented, right? 8 or 9 libraries to be implemented. You have to install Python, Pandas, PyODBC, and all these things. But when you come here, when we come to this environment, in our environment, keep a private environment, create a private environment in your Windows, execute it. Only those 7 or 8 libraries will be executing in that environment only. If you look at the right side, you can see this Python program is running on Python version is 3, RAM is 12 GB RAM, and it has got some 100 GB of disk space, and it is free. You want to have another program, just click on it. Here is another program. Simple. Just press this symbol, execution is done. As simple as that. Okay. Now let's complete. Here you can see PS utils, PYODBC, date type, and OS. These are all the 5 libraries created over there. Okay. And here when it comes here, it is just connected to this server, and it started collecting the metrics. It is just going to check each and every database, and its tables free space, and give us the result. Okay. Apart, the best thing is you just don't want to create over here. You don't want it to collect the raw data, server current data. You can ask it to create a dummy data and simulate it and show you the execution. That is also possible. These are all. It is just going to collect the metrics and store it, and then generate the details.
So how it will generate the, so after getting the data, will it connect to any LLM or?
No. If at all you want to connect, if at all you decided to connect, we are going to create an agent in that manner, ADK agent. Okay. If not, we can use our base programming. By using this, it is going to create linear regressions and then make out a disk space report and give you the recommendations. Both are completely different.
Okay, so now in this, how about like what we discuss about this to classes for next 30 days. So what is going to talk about more how to use Python in the SQL Server automation or
First is first 5 days is what AI is. I will just show you how agent works, how agentic AI is, what RAG is, what MCP servers are. First 5 days. Then after that, 10 days will be Python programming. Python programming in a DBA manner, DBA visuals. Okay. For example, you just want to report you perform a data analysis. Nothing is related with a DBA activities. That curriculum is built. Python programming is built, which is helpful only to SQL DBAs. Okay, what are the things a SQL DBA need to learn? The basic things that are done. There afterwards, 15 days completed, 5 days introduction to AI, 10 days Python programming. Then 10 days, it will be integrating AI in SQL DBA activities. Okay, and it is not limited to a single thing or single point. It's not limited to a CPU or a memory or usage. You can upgrade to anything. Okay, or you can ask me, no, I in my, you might have a good idea. No, I just want to have extended events, or I just want to see how this job is going to run. You just want to perform these type of things. Yes, I accept it, and I will help you out in developing application for that with the same. And another thing about Python is, we are just going to get the result, right? We can just directly host the results in a website. It is by, for example, Python. We have to create. How did I execute the Python program over here? Just like this, right? Python followed with the application name. If we write on web, then it is going to open in a browser and give us the details. And here, I will just show you the example of that ISC.
So Python language is mandatory to learn?
Up to me, yes. But
Okay.
I'm not teaching complete Python, right? The basic things which are you need to survive, you need to work on, that I am going to teach. In a human language, when you want to buy a car, we just learn driving. In the same way, we learn little things that where we have how to open the bonnet, how to open the fuel cap, how to fill the coolant, like this. Basic things are required. Python is just an ocean. Starting from our data analysis to IoTs, Python is possible. Python can do anything. But a SQL DBA want to collect the CPU details or server details and use that details for prediction, use that details for avoiding blockings, use that details for deadlock reporting. We'll be teaching that. I'm just collecting a fake workload over here with my PowerShell. And here in my Python environment,
Here are you using Java Python program into Windows PowerShell?
just to create fake CPU usage and fake workload, I am using PowerShell.
Okay.
And I am just going to show you this job. I just discussed about the archive job, right? There is a job here. In this example, I'm going to use my backup job. Okay, what it does is, it is just going to execute in this example. From the last reboot to till now, it will analyze the CPU usage and guide us and recommend us when is the best time to execute this backup job. CD. Python. This will take some time, and at the last, it is just going to recommend the, depending upon the for the last reboot to till now, it is just going to give you the time slice when is the best time to execute this job. The job name is back here. The job name is back. Here, if you see here you see it. libraries are used, Python libraries are used. It is not connecting to any AI agent. Okay, it is not connecting to any artificial intelligence. It is just using this base programming and performing PS utils library to suggest us the best time to execute a job name called as backup job. Clear? Time up. Any questions? And it is going to be a 30 days theory class.
30-day theory class.
Yes, 30 theory and demo both will be there.
So what you are going to cover? Only these three parts: agentic AI, generative AI.
No. First 5 days AI, 10 days Python programming, 10 days integrating AI with SQL DBA with AI. Last 5 days will be monitoring with AI.
Okay.
I'll be using for monitoring with AI. What you are going to do? That's the question. Very simple. I'm going to use Grafana. It's a freeware. Connect my SQL server and show you the prediction when it is going to predict, when is CPU usage is going to increase. It is going to predict. I'm going to pick the API for that Grafana, integrate with our AI, and show you how it is going to monitor efficiently for anomaly detection. Okay, for CPU usage or disk space, it can by monitoring, but looking at the monitoring APIs, connecting it to the AI, it can give us the details that after 5 weeks, disk space is going to get full. Here you can see that job scheduled rescheduled to 5.
Based on the
Based on
sequence. Okay.
okay, if I stop this, if I again run it and run the same query, it may not give the same time. It may not give the same time. This is how we can capable of rescheduling the jobs completely. We can just find out, for example, in your environment of 1000 SQL servers, temp DB is getting filed up, temp DB is getting full. Use PowerShell monitoring or else use Python monitoring to find out what exactly which is the user is going to do and what can be done. If it is a reporting one, we can just stop it in the production environment time. Okay, apart from this, I just said before, you just want to write a program but don't want to use the production environment data, then you can create your own dummy data to simulate its execution as well. Clear? 5 days introduction to AI, 10 days Python programming, 10 days SQL DBA integration with AI, and the last 5 days will be monitoring with AI. Apart from these 30 days, there are 20 hours left where many are new to this environment, many are new to this production Python environment. I will be helping out, joining with you, how to install Python, how to configure it, how to work with your environment. I will be available to you. Class is going to start from Monday, 9th of March, 7:30 a.m. IST, and course fees will be 18,000 INR. Any questions? Please reach me out on my number. If you don't, if you have my number, right?
So we have a number, but yeah, so this something which we are missing, like I don't know. So these agents, how we can use it in realistic way, how to schedule and all those things that we need to get to know. Like,
Pardon?
No, these three, I mean, we can call it these three as agents, or a separate kind of configuration is required to install this agent generative AI.
No, not separate. Minimal environment is required.
For example, I'm an Oracle DBA, so I can tell you that we have a monitoring tool called it's OEM. So for that, there is a voice-based control availability to get any kind of report. Okay, so OEM is a kind of monitoring tool where you can install all your servers into that. And for any one of the database, you can find out like, hey, can you give me that database growth report or CPU high usage? Then it will give you that data. That's called 24 AI OEM. So how it will be useful here in this case?